You think success is loud. You think it arrives with applause, recognition, proof that you were right all along. You think one day you wake and suddenly the struggle makes sense. That day almost never comes. And that's the first truth nobody tells you. Success doesn't feel successful while you're building it. It feels lonely. It feels uncertain. It feels like you might be wasting your life while everyone else looks like they're moving forward. If you're listening to this right now, there's a good chance you're already doing the hard part, and it's wearing you down. You don't lack ambition. You don't lack ideas. You don't lack effort. What you lack is reassurance, because nobody prepares you for how quiet the journey really is. They show you the highlight. They hide the silence. They show you the finished product. They hide the years of doubt that came before it. And in that silence, your mind becomes your biggest enemy. You start asking questions you never asked before. Am I behind? Did I choose the wrong path? Why does it seem easier for everyone else? Why am I still here? Those questions don't mean you're weak. They mean you're in it. Here's the truth most people never hear clearly. Success is not built by confidence. It's built by commitment during periods where confidence disappears. There will be long stretches where you don't feel inspired, weeks where motivation doesn't show up, months where results don't justify the effort. And in those moments, the world won't clap for you. Nobody will tell you to keep going. Nobody will see how hard you're trying. And that's not a flaw in the process. That is the process. Most people quit right there, not because they're incapable, but because they expected progress to feel rewarding. They expected effort to be recognized. They expected clarity. What they got instead was repetition. Wake up, do the work, doubt yourself, repeat. Let me tell you something that may sound uncomfortable, but it's honest. If you need constant validation to keep moving, success will exhaust you before it ever arrives. Because validation comes last. Discipline comes first. And discipline doesn't feel heroic. It feels boring. It feels frustrating. It feels like doing the same thing again while wondering if it even matters. You don't hear people talk about that part. They talk about passion. They talk about hustle. They talk about mindset. They rarely talk about the nights you lie awake wondering if you should just choose an easier life. They rarely talk about the mornings where you get up not because you believe, but because you refuse to quit. That refusal matters more than belief ever will. Another truth nobody tells you, success will ask you to change in ways you didn't plan for. Not just your schedule, your relationships, your identity, your comfort. Some people won't understand why you're no longer available the way you used to be. Some people will mistake your focus for arrogance. Some will quietly hope you fail because your discipline reminds them of what they avoid. You will feel pressure to shrink yourself back to who you were, to be easier, more relatable, less intense, but growth doesn't negotiate. It demands space, and space often feels like distance. This is where many people sabotage themselves. They choose familiarity over potential. They choose approval over progress. They choose comfort over the unknown, and they tell themselves they're being balanced. What they're really doing is avoiding discomfort, and discomfort is the entry fee. Here's another truth. Success will expose your weaknesses before it rewards your strengths. Your lack of patience, your tendency to procrastinate when things get hard, your habit of waiting for the perfect moment. The process will bring those things to the surface, not to punish you, but to force you to confront them. You don't become disciplined because you want to. You become disciplined because life shows you the cost of staying the same. And that cost becomes unbearable. At some point, something shifts, not externally, internally. You stop asking, is this worth it? And you start asking, what happens if I stop? That question changes everything, because the fear of quitting becomes stronger than the fear of failing. You realize something critical. The pain of discipline is temporary. The pain of regret is permanent. Nobody tells you that success is mostly about subtraction, not adding more motivation, not adding more hacks, but removing distractions, removing excuses, removing the version of you that negotiates with comfort. You don't rise to success. You strip away everything that keeps you average. And that process is uncomfortable because it forces honesty. It forces you to admit that some of your delays were choices, that some of your obstacles were self-created, that some of your waiting was fear in disguise. That realization can hurt, but it's also freeing, because once you accept responsibility, you regain control, and control is power. Another truth. Success doesn't come when you feel ready. It comes when you're tired of explaining why you're not. There will never be a moment where fear disappears completely. Confidence is built while fear is present. Courage is not the absence of fear. It's movement despite it. Every meaningful step forward will feel uncertain. Every growth phase will feel unstable. That instability is not a sign to stop. It's a sign you're stretching beyond who you were. Most people misinterpret that feeling. They think something is wrong. They think they're failing. They think they need to find themselves. What they actually need is to stay. Stay consistent, stay focused, stay when it's uncomfortable, stay when it's quiet, stay when nobody is watching. Because success is built in private. It's built in routines no one applauds. It's built in choices no one celebrates. It's built when you keep promises to yourself, even when no one else knows you made them. Let me say this clearly. You will outgrow the version of you that started this journey. That can be unsettling. You may not recognize yourself at times. Your priorities will shift. Your tolerance for excuses will shrink. Your standards will rise. And not everyone will come with you. That doesn't mean you're becoming cold. It means you're becoming clear. Clarity often feels like isolation at first, but it leads to alignment. And alignment leads to momentum. Another truth people don't tell you. Success is slow until it isn't. For a long time, nothing seems to move. Then suddenly, everything changes. Not because you found a shortcut, but because your consistency finally compounded. People will say you're lucky. They won't see the years where nothing happened. They won't see the mornings you showed up tired. They won't see the discipline that looked pointless at the time. They'll only see the result. And that's fine. You're not doing this for their understanding. You're doing it for your future. For the version of you who didn't quit. For the version of you who kept going when it would have been easier to stop. Here's a quiet truth. Success doesn't make you happy. It makes you honest. It removes the illusion that something external will complete you. It shows you that fulfillment comes from progress, not arrival, from growth, not recognition, from knowing you gave your best, not from being praised for it. That's why some people reach their goals and still feel empty. They chase the outcome, not the transformation. The real reward is who you become. Stronger, more disciplined, more self-respecting, more resilient. That version of you can handle more than you think. But you have to earn that strength. And it's earned one ordinary day at a time. Let me speak directly to you now. If you're tired, that doesn't mean stop. It means rest with intention, then continue. If you're doubting yourself, that doesn't mean you're wrong. It means you're human. If you feel behind, remember this. You're not racing anyone, you're building something. And building takes time. There is no wasted effort when it's done with purpose. Even the days that feel unproductive are shaping your discipline. Even the setbacks are teaching you how to adjust. Even the silence is strengthening your focus. The truth about success nobody tells you is this. It will test your patience before it tests your talent. It will test your consistency before it rewards your ambition. It will test your identity before it validates your vision. And if you can stay steady through that testing, something powerful happens. You stop needing external motivation. You move because it's who you are. You don't chase success. You operate at a level where success becomes a byproduct. That's when things change. Quietly, gradually, then all at once. So keep going, not with desperation, with calm resolve, not with noise, with focus, not to prove anything to anyone else, but to honor the commitment you made to yourself. Because one day you'll look back at this version of you, the tired one, the uncertain one, the disciplined one, and you'll realize something important. This was the moment everything was being built, and you didn't quit. You stayed, and that made all the difference.